Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name is Nick, and this is my daily ramble. I hope you're all well. Oh, a couple of weeks off now, a couple of weeks off for West Ham before we get going again, but we've got the international break. Going to try and plan a few Two Hammer shows. So we've got a couple of ideas. And we're probably going to do next Sunday. We won't do a phone-in show because there won't be any football to discuss. We might do one of our WhatsApp shows where you send in your WhatsApp voice notes. So I think we'll do one of them next Sunday. So, yeah, we'll keep you updated. If any news breaks or anything like that, which is very unlikely at the moment, I don't think there's much else to discuss at the minute in terms of the West Ham world. But if anything does break, we will let you know. All right. Now, look, as always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and drop a like on the video for us because it does really help us. And also, you're all aware, we're sponsored by the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. If you visit their website, you can use our discount code Claret15 and you get a nice 15% discount. You can find a link to their website in our description. And as always, it's all very much appreciated. It helps the channel. So, right. A little update on where I am with West Ham at the moment. So, I think you're all well aware and probably bored listening to my thoughts on style of play and this, that, the other. It's probably not going to change. I'm going to say that much. It probably isn't going to change too much. But trying to sort of separate that with how well we're doing at a high level in terms of results. That's what I've got to try and do. Now, what I said a few games back was that I was going to kind of reassess after the Everton game. So I said, after 5 games, I'm going to kind of look at the situation because back when I made that video, we had Liverpool, we had Man City, we had Sheffield United, we had Newcastle, Aston Villa, and then Everton. So I kind of said, look, let's assess where we are after that game. Now, look, I think we all know that the style of play isn't really ever going to be that palatable to me. But if you're getting success and you're getting results, it does kind of offset it. So I did say that those 5 games, you've got kind of a really good mix of opposition there. You've got two excellent teams. See how we compete against those. You've got Sheffield United, the team that you should be beating, and we did beat. You've got Newcastle and Aston Villa, 2 teams that we should be competing with because they're not top 6 level yet, irrespective of where they are on the table currently, but they are in or around where we should be. So they're the teams that we should be aspiring to compete with. We certainly shouldn't be scared of them. Now the Newcastle game, it was a game of 2 halves. We was good in the first half. Newcastle were good in the second half. We were poor. We came out. We had a good last 15 minutes and rescued a point. So a draw was a fair result in the grand scheme of things on that one. It's going to be interesting to see how we do against Aston Villa, who are a team in form at the moment, and then on to Everton. And I will reassess things after that. I mean, I've banged on about the last 18 months before this season. Quite a lot, and they were bad. They were terrible in the league. The results and the football were terrible. But if you go back the last probably 3 months of football, not 3 months, but sort of 3 months, 4 months of actual football, we were getting better towards the tail end of last season in terms of results. Our European record is phenomenal, and our record this year is good. You can't really complain about it. We go into the international break, we're in 7th place. And it's just trying to weigh up, the things that irritate you about David Moyes and the way that we play, and just trying to sort of put that to one side and go, well, is there something in this? Should this is kind of where I'm going to go. Now, look, there's always going to be points of discussion. David Moyes is always going to leave you with questions. I just think that's the way that he is. He's always going to irritate you with his approach to games. He's going to irritate you with his team selection. There's going to be players starting that we necessarily don't think should start ahead of players that are on the bench. His in-game management, the pre-planned subs, keeping substitutes stood there for 5, 10, 12 minutes before they come on because I don't even know what we've got to wait for before David Moyes actually actions a change. I've got no clue. But those sort of things really, really piss me off. But as such, this year, we haven't really been stung for it. I do believe what I say. what I've said all along, and that is that we invite far too much pressure onto our goal. And at some point in one of those games, like against Man City, if you invite 20 or 25 shots onto your goal, at some point the other team are going to find their shooting boots, and you're going to get blown off the park. And other people will say, well, look, we're conceding every game anyway. You know, that's why we can't play in a more progressive way. We've got to play the low block, but the low block doesn't really work. I think if you've got defenders that are shaky, if you've got Sufal that isn't great in one-on-ones, if you've got Kurt Zuma who's not mobile, and you've got Aguirre who's nervous in a backs-to-the-wall defensive situation, you don't want to invite pressure onto him. And that's kind of what I feel like we do at times. But so far, it hasn't stung us. You know, the league position doesn't lie. They do say that after around about 10 games, 12 games in the season, then you'll start to get a feel of where your season is ultimately going. And we're sort of fast approaching that point. And once we do arrive at the Everton game, I mean, don't get me wrong, if we go away to Villa and we beat a very good Villa team, that's a phenomenal result. Okay? And there's no excuses for and this is the thing. This is where I've got to try and balance it up. You know, my distaste for the football, my dislike for the football, versus the fact that I like winning as well. So it looks like we're never really going to be able to have both under David Moyes. But you know, we're not in a bad situation at the minute. Is what I'm trying to say. So where do you think that we're going to be? So come the Everton game, and how do you think it's going to progress throughout the season? Because we've got quite an exciting month coming up, or an exciting few weeks when we do return from international football. We've got the Arsenal game at home, the EFL game. We could potentially beat them. You don't know. They're very likely to kind of not take that competition seriously. I think they'll rest a lot of players. I hope that we don't. I hope that we don't act Billy Big Bollocks. I hope that we punish them for dismissing that competition, which I think that they will. I wouldn't even be surprised if Deck doesn't play. I think Arteta will basically put out a kids team, and if he does, I hope that we do punish him. And if we do get past Arsenal, you're then still involved in a competition that you can seriously win, because a load of top teams have gone out. A load of top teams have come out. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. I think my dog's about to start barking. I will be back later on this week. He's going to start. He does it every time to me. Every time I'm recording. Honestly. He's been quiet for ages. Come here. He won't. He knows. You're a dick. Henry, come. Come here. Come on. Come here. Good boy. That's it. Let's grab him by the neck for the rest of the broadcast. But yeah, I've sort of lost my track there a little bit. So obviously we could progress in that competition, the EFL Cup, and we don't know how far we're gonna go in that. If we get past Arsenal, I'm quite hopeful for it. And the final for that's in February. So can you imagine that? Imagine winning a cup and getting qualification for a European competition. I think it's the conference in February. You can really go on and enjoy the rest of the season. Then we've still got the FA Cup. We're in the Europa, and we're 7th in the league at the moment. We all know that there could be some trouble coming if the likes of Antonio gets injured. We don't know how Kudus is going to fit in. We don't know. There's still a lot of questions. But the fact of the matter is, at the moment, the results and our previous form, stretching back quite a few months of football, is currently, you can't knock it. You can't. So I am going to reserve judgment on this until after the Aston Villa game and until we get to the Everton game, because that's going to determine whether or not I shut the fuck up and stop moaning about style of football and try my damnedest to get on board with this defensive game that we play, which will always irritate me, but it's yielding results. So that's kind of where we are. I mean, look, we are in a good, strong position at the moment. We are. You know, we're in every cup competition known to man. We're 7th in the league. We've played 3 of the top 6 already, I think. I think it's 3 of the top 6. Yeah, it is. Or 3 of the big teams anyway. So Liverpool, Man City and Brighton. We beat Brighton. We beat Chelsea, but I don't regard them a top 6 team this year. They've been shit. He's a dick. I'm going to have to cut this short, all right? He's not having it. So, look, thanks very much for watching. As I said, if you enjoyed the show, please drop a like on it. Subscribe if you haven't already. About 30 to 40% of you guys, you haven't subscribed yet. It's free to do so. And we'll be back soon. Right, I'm going to go and kick the dog up the arse. All right, cover your heads.